Hello, wise women. I want to talk about your inner knowing. So many of us are conditioned to forget and not even trust, not even believe that we know what's best for us and we know what's best for our families, our children, our children know what's best for them too, but we know what's best as a mother and as a woman and as a human. We know what's best for us and our family, that we have this intuitive guidance within us where it's been conditioned out of us, and it's incredibly empowering when you reconnect back with that. So I just want to share a few tips that I have found incredibly empowering and I've used and I've shared with clients and they've found incredibly empowering to connect back with that inner knowing. And the first one is so simple, but we often don't do it. There's a world of difference between, you've probably heard something like this, between hearing something and knowing something and actually living it, actually doing it. So the first one is simply reconnecting back with your body. I think I might have done a video around connecting back with your body. I can't remember if it was out here on our page or in our group, but it's incredibly important to connect with your intuition. Hi, Delara. To get out of your head and into your body. And a really basic way to feel truth in your body is feel for the yes and the no in your body. And I think of it, I feel it as aha and So just feeling for, does it feel like the expansion of a yes for me, or does it feel like the contraction of a no for me? And practicing doing that with many little things. The more you do that, the more you build up your muscles, your connection between your actions and your thoughts and your body around bigger things as well. So that's the first one. Just get into your body and feel for the yes and the no in your body. Like, let that dictate how you choose, like what you choose to eat, what you choose to wear, without thinking about it. Like, a really important part of that is trust. Feel for it and trust it. And you can start with things that it doesn't really matter if you trust it. Like, sometimes our mind can get in the way and go, what if it is wrong? And what if I screw this or that up? Because we're so used to not trusting ourselves. So start with small things. And then the next tool is actually talking to yourself. Like, it's amazing how often we will ask ourselves questions, like what if questions, like what if I do this? Or what is actually going on for me? What am I actually feeling here? What am I afraid of? But we don't actually allow ourselves to answer it. We just stay in the question zone, and then we kind of spin around thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and rehashing potential scenarios, and just staying on a treadmill of mind screwiness, really. But whenever you have some kind of question or a sense of, there's something going on for me, there's something I need to work out, there's something I need to find my truth around, all you need to do is go a little deeper and actually take yourself on the inquiry, because that is what we don't do. When we're stuck in our head and we're spinning around, we definitely have the time to do it, because I'm sure that you're like every other human and you spend a lot of time in your head and just thinking about stuff, like going around and around in circles. So instead of doing that, all you need to do is actually ask yourself those questions that you ask and take them seriously and go a little deeper. I find it powerful to get out a journal, because then I have this anchor that I can do it with, pen and paper. But sometimes I also, like, if I find myself lying in bed and I'm feeling a bit stumped on something, and I catch myself in that mind game of thinking about it but not really getting anywhere, I stop myself. So you can do it through journaling, or you can just do it through asking yourself questions and having the commitment to, the sacred commitment to self, the discipline to, I'm going to go on this inquiry and actually ask myself, so what if I did this? What could that mean? And then let myself answer, and don't distract myself with all the other stuff that can come on. And then what could that mean, until I get to something that is enlightening to me, that teaches me something about myself. Or often the questions can also be, what am I afraid of? Like, when you're actually really honest about what's there, that's when you get to your intuitive truth underneath. You can't just ignore all the messy stuff and expect intuition to just pop up for you. So actually being honest with yourself, going on an inquiring journey. And remember that if you ask yourself questions that lead to more of your truth, and by truth I mean also your fears, also your feelings, also all the messy stuff, but when you inquire and are willing to really listen to yourself rather than just spinning around in your head and rehashing over all the old stuff, then you'll discover something that you didn't know before about yourself, and it will shift, and you'll learn more of your truth. And then the wisdom is available to you, like it just is, because you're willing to listen to yourself. You're willing to have a conversation with yourself. So again, these things might seem really simple, but the power is in actually doing them, because a lot of things we know, but we don't actually do. So I invite you to really try them out. And the third thing is to, especially, you need to find a safe space, but having someone who you can speak to and share this stuff with. Like the inquiry I was just talking about, actually sharing it with somebody else, because when we speak our processes and speak what we're trying to work out for ourselves out, other people can hear our truth and they can support it. And then especially if you work with someone who is like trained to do things like that, like a coach or a healer or a mentor of some sort, then that's incredibly, especially powerful. But also a really, like a close friend who you trust, someone who you feel safe with, they can feel your truth with you. Like you can't actually avoid going on these journeys and finding out more about yourself and hearing your own truth when you share it with someone else and they're holding space for you, because they can feel truth. They can feel it in you, and they can support you to really connect with it yourself. So get into your body is the first one. Feel for what the messages in your body. The second thing is actually go on self-inquiry journeys. Don't just spin around in your head and do the same old stuff. If you've asked yourself a question like, what would it be like to do this? Or what am I afraid of here? Or what am I not willing to look at here? Or what do I really want? Then actually give yourself space to answer those questions, like properly. Like dedicate space to it, because there's a wealth of wisdom in there. And the third thing is find safe, powerful spaces where you're witnessed and where you can share this stuff and someone else can hear you and see you and reflect back what it feels like to them. You've got this, wise woman. And if you want to get on a call with Lisa or I, we can definitely do that for you. We're incredibly experienced at doing this with women, and I'm amazed at what can shift in a really short amount of time when you're willing to connect with yourself, when you're willing to go on the self-inquiry journeys and meet yourself And when you're willing to do that in the presence of someone else, it's just extra powerful. So I'd be honoured to share that with you. If you would like to, there's a link in the description, and it's we are offering it's limited. There's like not endless supply, absolutely, but if you want a one-off session with us, we're offering them to you. No pressure to have to work further with us, because we only want fully aligned clients. Yeah, it would be my pleasure. So much love to you. Goodbye.